Welcome to Heal the World Show podcast, brought to you by the Healing Institute. I'm Parmelia Parham. I'm the founder and the CEO of the Healing Institute, and we are an online worldwide hub of holistic practitioners. And I want to give people hope. We want to give people hope about their health and their healing because we're all on a health journey. So let's make it a proactive one. And we want people to know that the Healing Institute is a hub of wonderful holistic practitioners, and we have many modalities that we can offer you on your health journey. So I've studied holistic health for well over 30 years. And so I know personally that it works. And the reason that I created the Healing Institute, and I call it an institute because I'm passionate about education and about educating people about how to be well and how to stay well. So you might not get a course here, but you'll get education. And the reason it's important to me is because we had a tragedy in our family a number of years ago when my mom passed away at a very young age. She was only 61. And it was due to complications with some of her organs because of a medication that she had been on for a very long time. It happened right before Christmas. It was December the 15th. I was 5 months pregnant with my son. And so not only was it a tragedy that she died so young, but also that my children didn't get to meet their grandmother. And I just don't want that happening for any other families. So that is my passion and my purpose for creating the Healing Institute and offering to the world health and healing. So each week I invite a guest co-host to come and be part of the Healing Institute. This is actually our 84th episode. I've been doing this for about a year and a half. And it's March. So I'm always thinking of themes for each month and then how we can work around that theme. So I decided to call March Motivational March because I think, by the time we get to March, we need maybe a little motivation to maybe do all those things that we had been thinking that we would get done in January, February, but we haven't quite got there yet. So we're having Motivational March. I am just so delighted to have our guest co-host today, Emily Bisson. And the topic that we're going to talk about is marching to the top, strategies to identify and leverage business opportunities. So I am so excited to talk about that. I think it's going to be a great conversation. So welcome, Emily. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and it's so delightful to have you here.
Well, thanks for having me. I am Emily Beeson, business opportunity strategist who works with primarily entrepreneurial parents to do the work that they love, get paid well for what they do, and have the time that they want to spend with their family and friends and themselves so that they can have somewhat of a balance in their life of not just working their life away. And this is a topic that I'm really passionate about because there are opportunities around us all the time. And if you have the right people in your corner or you know what you're looking for, then it's going to be a whole lot easier to grow your business, to identify places where you can implement things in your own life that make things more fun and bring in more joy.
And that's what we're here for. We're here to be joyful. I don't believe we're here to it's all hard work, for sure.
Yeah.
So I love your philosophy, and I know you're a young mom. I know you've got two lovely daughters. There was a decision that I made when I was working for our corporate government many years ago when my children were young. And I did choose to work a part-time position rather than a full-time position because I really wanted to have those days that I could hang out at the school and do fun things with them and go on field trips. And I noticed your LinkedIn post yesterday. You were hanging out at the school, and I was like, it brought back really wonderful memories. So it is so very important. And of course, both we have as our guests in the back room today, we have Marie Piplovic, who is one of our practitioners, and she's a conscious breathing facilitator and also helps women who are going through midlife that have been, in careers that have burnt them out. And so she knows definitely how important that is. And we have Elmarie from South Africa, who is also one of our fabulous uh, practitioners. And Elmarie helps people with their boundaries. She's a boundaries coach. So again, she knows definitely what you're talking about, Emily.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing when it comes to identifying those opportunities is being really clear on what you want your life to look like and how you want to get there. Because so often we have this big goal of I'm going to do this and I'm going to do everything I need to get to where I need to go, but don't take into consideration the life outside of that bubble.
Mhm.
And if we're not intentionally building our business and our boundaries around our time, our family time, our personal time, we can sometimes get into a hustle grind mindset of if I'm not working, I'm not being productive. And that is so I hate that. I hate that because we're not meant to hustle and grind. Like
That's right.
we're not.
I
So,
have actually I have a book called Grace Over Grind.
ooh,
You
yeah.
you make a choice that you don't want to be in the grind. You actually want to just live your life with some grace, which is so important, especially when you have young children like you do. And I know when I had when my children were little, I mean, it wasn't just the family stuff that was going on and my career stuff that was going on. It was also their stuff that was going on
Yeah.
and all the things that are happening with them as they're getting into grade school and all the activities and the extra activities and the driving them here, there, and everywhere, which is at one point I thought that was just my life behind the wheel. So important. Yeah, so important to have that vision, I would guess I would call it. That vision
Mhm.
of how you would like your life to be instead of just getting caught up in the rat race it's so easy for us to do that.
Yeah. And we need to anchor on our values too, because
Yes.
I think sometimes we are busy reading books from people who've made it to the top or whatever, or we're watching people's social media and saying, well, I should be there. This is what I want, but not taking the time to really look at is that really the life that I want to build? Is
Mhm.
do they have exactly the same life I do? Because if they do, then maybe this plan will work for me. But if they don't, you've got to adapt to what is going on in your own life. And so when I talk to my clients about where to identify some of the opportunities for them, we get really clear on how do you like connecting with people? What
Mhm.
work do you actually like to do? And I had a conversation with somebody yesterday and she said, well, do you have the same sort of intro process for everybody that you work with, even if they've had a business for a long time? And I say, yeah, because we all need to dump out the junk drawer sometimes and see
Yes.
what's going on.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
from there, be able to identify, like, am I still doing the work that I really love to do? Or have I gone off course because this was more profitable at this time? Or do I feel drained from this work? And I think that's first and foremost, the opportunity is to really check in and to make sure that we're doing the things that we want to do. Because one, I've told you this, it's so much easier to sell something that you actually are passionate about.
Absolutely, for sure.
Um,
And a
like,
couple of things that you said that I really want to kind of bring to more of a point as well is, you said values. Well, oftentimes we don't even know what our values are.
mhm,
So that's really important for us to do some of that inner work to find
yeah.
out what are our values. And I've been mentioning this lately on the podcast that, when I was a young mom and I had a career, I it wasn't until I read a book about my purpose. And my
Mm,
purpose was more than just being a good mother and a good wife and having a career and doing that job as best as I could. It was
mhm.
actually a book about what do you want inside? What are your, what is maybe a vision is a good word to describe it. Uh, and I had never thought of that before. I had never thought of the fact that I could have a purpose other than being
Yeah.
something, right?
Mhm.
So that is so very important for people to make sure that they're really focused or they can get focused on what it is that they really truly and what makes them happy,
Yeah.
not just necessarily. And the other thing that came up for me as you were mentioning is to, we get into these, these careers, or we see these people on social media, and of course now it's just so prevalent to see so much going on. I often like to think, okay, well, really, they look great and they sound great, and but what else is going on in their life? Like, what else is happening? Are they happy? Do they are they engaged with their family or with their community? Like, I mean, we have to be very discerning, I think, when we're looking at those kinds of social media posts, and not compare ourselves, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Comparison is a thief of joy.
Oh, I like that. Okay, comparison is the thief of joy. I like that. That's a great
Yes.
quote.
Because again, we get the highlight reel for a lot of people. We don't know what's going on in the background, and
Mhm.
they may have somebody else writing their social media.
Yeah, exactly.
So we may not even get the real authentic version of that person anyway, because they have somebody that's doing that work on the back end.
Yeah, so it's
Um,
just kind of what it looks good
yeah,
from the front end, but who knows really what's going on. Well,
yeah.
Marie has made a comment here. I just want to honor her. She says, "I love that you just said that we are not meant to hustle and grind. So many coaches I've met and even hired use the word hustle, and it's just the word itself that drains my energy."
Me
Yes.
too.
So the word discernment keeps coming up for me, and balance.
Mhm.
And comparison is a thief of joy. Oh, yes. Thank you very much, Marie. She put it in the chat. So,
Well, one of the things too, going back to the values thing, I think a lot of the time, especially with my female clients, they have this feeling, if they have this thought that one of their values needs to be abundance, and translate that into money, which, yeah, we need money to live, all that stuff. But almost every single one of them is like, I don't care about this part. Like, I want the feeling. Like, I want to know that I have the freedom to be able to take time off when I want to, the flexibility to do the things that I want to do. I don't necessarily care about the numbers. I want to make sure that whatever number I'm hitting is just allowing me to have the life that I want to build. And I think that's a big difference from some of the men that I've worked with, where they're like, I want to hit this number and I want to exceed it. I had a client last year make over a $500,000 in her business, and she's like, that's cool. I'm glad that I did that, but now what?
yeah,
Now what?
exactly.
Because then she's like, do I need to make another higher goal, or can I just be happy with this and maintain this level of wealth,
I'd be very happy with
Oh,
$500,000
me too, me too.
as,
Um,
as
but
profit in my company. Absolutely.
yeah, but that was the distinction that was really interesting, because a lot of the time my clients aren't motivated by money. They're
Mm.
motivated by a feeling, or a sense of peace that they have, knowing that bills are covered, their clients are taken care of, their staff or their contractors are paid, and they're paid well. And that was a really interesting distinction. So I think we think sometimes that we need to be shooting for a certain goal or number, when really it's more complicated than that.
Yeah. It's more of an emotion and a feeling
Yeah.
of being satisfied with what we're doing. And we
Yes.
know, those of us that are, in this world, that once you've got that feeling, the abundance is going to come. I think the other thing too is that our society has put a lot of emphasis on abundance being money
Yeah.
and being a number.
Yeah.
And we're finding that really, I mean, I can say I have so much abundance in my life, with my family, with my community, where I live. And there's what was that ad, that MasterCard ad? There is, you just can't put an amount as to how much that is worth.
Yeah. Yeah. And that shift for me helped me identify more opportunities to stay in my zone of genius and to be doing the work that
Mm.
I really was passionate about. And the business came when I stopped worrying about the numbers and started focusing more on, is this in alignment? Are these the
Yes.
types of people I want to work with? Can I help them see the opportunities that they have in front of them? And if we're working towards a feeling or a level of peace, in doing the work
And
that we're
joy.
doing, and joy, um, that's going to be a lot easier. And you'll notice that more opportunities come when you're in that like abundant space of, I was able to take the day off to go to a field trip with my child. I was able to take the day off to go sit by the water because it was sunny outside. I was able to, help out a family member in the middle of a work week. And that, I think, if we are starting to see those as abundant opportunities
Yes.
and start to realize a lot of other people don't have that, then we start to see that we are abundant and we can operate on a higher vibration because we're channeling that energy rather than the scarcity of, oh my God, where's the next sale going to come from?
Yes, beautiful. I love the way you described that. So yes, so we have a couple more comments here. Oh, Elmarie is saying, I'm hearing abundance equals freedom. She loves that. And Marie is saying, working towards peace and joy and freedom is spot on. So yes, absolutely. So I really would love our audience to hear maybe one or two um, examples of clients that you work with, and the results that your clients get, because we're putting in the notes how to get in touch with you, and also you have a fabulous gift that you're offering, a strategy session, which I've taken, just so people know, and it's amazing. So yeah, maybe just give us a little idea of a couple of your clients, or how they've worked with you, and the results.
Yeah. So one of my longest clients that I've had, when we first started working together, she was trying to figure out how to reach the audience that she wanted to reach. And she had had opportunities on the Today Show before we worked together, and
Wow.
was trying to figure out how to get back to speaking to those types of audiences. And had a group course that she was trying to figure out how to fill. She had nobody signed up 2 weeks before it was supposed to start. And within the first couple weeks of, well, working together, she filled 8 spots paid, which was awesome. And it was a matter of tweaking where she was talking about the work that she was doing. She was posting everything to her business LinkedIn page, which had like 100 followers. And
Ah,
business LinkedIn pages are terrible for reaching audiences. So unless you have a large following on there, I would not recommend that. And we really tuned into helping her find her voice on her own personal LinkedIn page, and then building up her email list, so that, because writing was one of the ways that she liked connecting with people. So we were able to turn things around really quickly for her and getting those group course members in. And then after that, she wanted to write a book and had been writing a book for a long time. And so our strategy shifted as her focus shifted. And she decided to not do another group program, but to work one-on-one with people and to write her book. And she was able to write her book, make up the revenue that she made in the group program, and was doing the one-on-one work that she loved and getting speaking gigs. So
wow.
it's,
Beautiful.
again, it's part of that, like, adapting to the season of life,
Mhm.
a season of business that you're in, and the interests and the energy you have for those certain things. Like running a group again was like, I don't want to do that. Great, we don't have to do that. And actually, if you have 2 one-on-one clients, you're going to make up all the revenue you would have made with 10 people in your course anyway. So it's getting really clear on how you want to show up and who you're trying to show up for, and unapologetically using your voice to help
Yes.
people find you. And then another client, when we first started working together, she was doing everything herself in her creative agency. And she's like, I want to grow, but I can't do this by myself. So I need to add team members, but I don't know how to do that. And I want to go from me to we, and I'm not sure how that looks. And over the last 2 years, we worked on building her team and building her support network and making sure that the things that come off her plate don't come back onto her plate so that
Oh,
she can continue to
so
stay
brilliant. Yes.
the zone of genius she has. And she was the client that 4x'd her revenue in 2 years and made over $500,000 last year. And I just am in awe of the work that she does. And she doesn't network at all. She
Interesting.
gets all of
Yeah.
her business from referrals and from the relationships that she builds with the clients that she works with. So if there's somebody that's moved to a different company,
Mhm.
she maintains that relationship so they can invite her in to work with
Ah.
at um the next business. And it's brilliant. And
Mhm.
because that was the first thing she told me when we started working together. I don't want to network. I don't like networking. I want to build relationships. I want to do really good work for my clients. And I want to make sure that I'm doing the work that I actually enjoy doing and can be there for my kid when he gets done with school.
Well, and
So
I think one of your points was to adjust our life, which includes our working life and our life, in seasons.
yeah,
And not just necessarily the 4 seasons,
right.
but things change in our life.
Mhm.
And sometimes we just hang on to these old habits that we've had because we're maybe a little fearful of letting go of the habit. We're not really researching whether or not, or in thinking about whether that habit is really still working for us.
Right.
And that's so important for us to continue to do that as business people, because life does change.
Yeah.
So,
And the same thing with the spaces that if you are networking, really paying attention to,
yes.
is this the space that has the type of people that I want to work with, or is this just fun for me? Or is this something that helps me feel like I'm being productive, but really it's just busy? And
Yeah,
and
good point. Difference between being productive and just being busy.
yes. And I think that's one of the things too that we don't realize, that our energy is the most important it's the most important thing that we have. And so if we're giving our energy to all these spaces and doing all these things that somebody told us we should be doing because that's how we should build businesses, it's like there is not a one size fits all to
No.
building a business. There's not. And I think I've told you this before. I have so many business books that I have started and I have not finished because I got what I needed out of it and then I put it down. And
Yeah,
if
and
I
that's
need to keep going, I will read it again, but I don't I can't possibly implement all the things from all the books that I read and be successful because it won't be mine.
and I think you made a really good point too about being discerning around what networking groups are working for you and what networking groups aren't.
Mhm.
When I first started the Healing Institute, I was probably in, I don't know, 10, 12 networking groups. And gradually I've realized, well, this one's not really fitting my needs anymore. So just letting it go. I popped on to 2 networking groups yesterday. Plus I was in a posting party, a LinkedIn posting party, which is follow up for the next 3 days. And by last night, I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't even had time to do my social media posts. And I haven't followed up with any of the people that I met that I really wanted to follow up with.
Mhm.
So I'm very discerning about, and one of the networking groups I hadn't hopped on for a while, but I really wanted to hear the guest speaker. But I just don't hop onto that one that as much because I am I'm just trying, yeah, I'm trying to make sure that my time is valuable. I know my time is valuable, and I'm just trying to work at what is best for me and my company.
Yeah.
So we have
Yeah.
a couple more comments here. Marie's all about, I want that, no networking. Well, maybe a few choice groups, 2 max.
That's
And
fair.
then Al Marie says, sounds like energy is a precious currency to be used with discernment. Absolutely, Elmarie. That is so, so true.
And that's one, so segueing into the next point is when you're looking at your calendar, if you don't have a day where you're not talking to people, you need to schedule one, or at least a half a day, because if again, going back to the busyness, if our calendar is full all week long and we are having one-on-one conversations, or we're going to networking events, or we're doing all the things and we're talking to people all week, we will not have energy to do the work that we need to do to move ourselves forward. It's going to appear as if we did all these things to move our business forward. But if we don't have the on the business time and the creative thinking time to do what we need to do, and to reach out intentionally to the people we actually want to connect with, and not just spam them a generic message of, hey, let's connect on LinkedIn. Like, it's deeper than that. All of that networking is for what? Like, okay, they're in your network now, but if they don't hear from you, or they don't, that we don't always see what people are posting on LinkedIn unless you have like the little bell turned on and you get fed that content. So they may miss what you're doing, and they may be exactly the types of people that you want to work with. And I think when we get caught up in doing all these activities where we're meeting people and we don't have a good plan for, why am I here? Who am I trying to connect with? What is the outcome I'd like to see that helps me determine whether or not this was successful? And then how will I follow up with these people later in a way that feels good to me? We spend a lot of time networking and we don't see a lot of results. And then we say, oh, well, I did all this networking, I should have all this business. But have you done the work to actually get the business? And most of the time the answer is no.
I love that. Yes, that's so important. I've always had a process where whatever networking I'm part of, I know another networking group, there's always like, well, book the meeting while you're in the meeting. Well, that doesn't work for me because I have to look at my calendar and I have to fit it in. So I always save the chat, print out the chat, go it through the chat, go through my, my printout and decide. I mean, in breakout rooms, you can come make notes and think, okay, I really want to connect with this person later. But I've always done that follow up, and I've always immediately gone to LinkedIn to find them on LinkedIn and make a connection with them on LinkedIn. Now, not everybody, of course, who was in the network, but just the people that I really wanted to connect with. And taking your previous point that you made about having a day where you're not actually talking to people, I'm just implementing that now. I'm a bit of a slow learner, I'll just say. But a lot of it was I was trying to do too many things. I have client sessions, doing, networking. I have other people that I'm talking to. And it was over just the last I'd say the last month, that I realized by Sunday evening, I was like getting panicky because Monday was showing up and I hadn't done everything that I wanted to do the previous week. Some things I didn't finish, and I thought I'd get them done on the weekend, and I didn't get them done on the weekend. And I'm sure quite a few people have that. So I thought, okay, you know what? I'm not taking Fridays off because this is the podcast day and other things that happen on Fridays, but I'm actually going to take Mondays. And when I say take it off, I don't mean take it off, but I'm going to give myself Monday to be that day that I'm not in meetings and I'm not doing client sessions and I'm not talking to people. I'm actually doing some planning, the things that I'm not getting done in the previous week and I'm not doing on the week. I'm not getting done on the weekend. So yeah, I'm very looking forward to that now.
Yeah. Well, and I've taken Mondays and then Friday afternoons off so that I can finish up the stuff on the weekend that I didn't get done for my home on Monday morning. And I can prep for the weekend. I usually do laundry in the afternoon on Friday so that I don't have to do laundry all weekend long.
Yeah, because you've got a family. You want to hang out with your family.
But I also want to relax on the weekend. I
Yes.
don't want the weekend to be doing all the house stuff and then slam into the week and do all the work stuff and the kids stuff. I want to actually enjoy the time with my family. So I've made that boundary for myself and my family. And that has not only made me feel like I have everything under control in a way that I didn't before, but it also helps preserve my energy for the things that I'm really excited to do. And I highly encourage too having a space for people to connect with you where it doesn't have to be one-on-one, like Grow Your Network for me is a good opportunity for people to get a chance to see who I am, how I do things without having to schedule a one-on-one right away. If then we vibe and it's a good match, they can schedule a one-on-one time with me, but I like the opportunity to be able to check people out first and see, like, are we a good fit before we schedule a half an hour or an hour to get together? And that, I think sometimes people feel like, well, I have to offer this coffee chat. I have to offer this like time in my calendar when it may not be necessary.
Yes, and just for our audience to know, Emily's Grow Your Business is a networking group that we meet on the third Thursday of the month at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And it's amazing. It's great. We do breakout rooms. She always has great questions. So if you're looking for a really productive networking group to be part of, I recommend Emily's Grow Your Business. So yes, you've got a calendar link you can send out to people.
Yeah.
That's always in my calendar. I just have it there, so I don't have to worry about where the Zoom is, the Zoom link is. Wow, this has just been such a lovely conversation with you. Any final little tips that you would like to impart for people?
Well, the biggest thing is there are opportunities all around you.
Yes.
And the clearer you are on where you want to go and how you want to show up and how you want your business to fit into the life that you're building for yourself, the easier it will be to determine whether or not the opportunities in front of you are in alignment or not. And I think we need to trust ourselves and what we know about how do we want to show up and just unapologetically do that and allow yourself
Exactly.
the opportunity to see how amazing you are without having to make sure it's okay if I do it this way or that way. It's like people, the biggest thing that I tell all of my clients are people don't really care what you sell. They care,
That's it.
do I like you as a human being and can you solve my problem? That's it. And
That's so true.
if you can confidently talk about what it is that you do, the sale is going to be easy because they're going to say, I need that. How do we work together? And you're not even going to have to say like, oh, and these are all the things I can help you with. It's like, I need that. Let's work together. And then it turns sales into conversations, and passion is the driver for getting the types of clients that you want to work with. So trust yourself, lean
Yeah.
in, be unapologetically bold in how you talk about things and why you love the work that you do and why you're doing it, because that's what people want to see.
Love it. Thank you so much. Well, this has been just a delightful conversation. I'm so wonderful to have connected with you a couple of years ago, I think, maybe not that long ago, but anyway. So yes, please let people know if you've watched this podcast and it's inspired you, or even if it hasn't, and you think people should be checking in with us on Fridays. We are a community of health practitioners. We customize what we do to each person. So it's not a one size fits all. And we are a community. That's how we differentiate ourselves from other wellness directories, because there's lots out there and there's some really good ones, but we are a community. So all of us as practitioners get to know each other. We know what our strengths are. We know what our modalities are, so that we can refer any clients that are coming to the website. They might show up on my doorstep first, but then I can say, I've got other practitioners and I know that would benefit them from working with them. We have our motto, which is service with love. So we definitely believe in that. And yeah, we have this big ask. We would like you to let people know about us, let people know about the Healing Institute and about the amazing people that are on the website that are there to help you with your health and your healing. So we'll say goodbye for now, and thank you very much for watching us and being part of our show today. We'll be back next Friday on Heal the World Show podcast.